Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Kiss My Collectibles. I'm your co-host, Jason Herndon, Nicholas Buckland, Joe Lalich, and John Humphrey are sometimes co-host on the Wax episodes. So um, this episode asks the very important question, what the hell is wrong with John Humphrey?
Have I
What is
lost
he
my
doing?
mind?
Has he lost his mind?
He
I think
has,
he has.
And the answer
however,
is yes.
on a separate note,
Yeah. So if you haven't seen or heard, I think you just did an episode too with Julian at Kiss FAQ.
Yeah.
Usurped us. We were supposed
yeah.
to.
So we're second choice. Yeah. Okay,
And John had a little eye issue, and then so Julian sweeps in and gets the scoop. Like, we've been talking about this for a long, long time. In the background, John has let us know that he has been thinking about, if you haven't heard, selling off his merchandise, Kiss merchandise.
Yes.
Not his
Heaven
vinyl.
forbid.
The vinyl stays.
Yes.
But John is going to be auctioning off everything.
Jason, when you said that, selling off his Kiss collection, I could see a little bead of sweat drip down your face. Like you could never possibly do. You will never do this.
Me?
You,
Well, not
you
again.
will never.
What's funny is I sold my original collection before any of you guys sold anything.
And
Yeah.
have talked about it
Yes.
on every episode.
That's right. That's right. So, but John, I guess we'll talk about it and find out why he's decided to do this if he wants to share. But he's going to sell his merchandise collection, and John has quite a choice collection. We're going to go through some of the items, pull up the auction house website, and look at a few things as we go through it. But so let's just let's jump into it.
Let's do
John,
it.
what made you decide to dump the Kiss merchandise collection?
Don't say that to dump. You make me feel bad. Makes my heart hurt. Makes my heart hurt.
lovingly, as I refer to as lovingly pass on to a
Yes,
future
yes.
collection.
Fair enough.
What
There
made
we
you
go.
turn
As
your
we-
back on the band and the
Yes.
fans that have loved the
Yeah.
band?
See,
for-
it just
over
shows I don't
50
like Kiss. I don't love Kiss. See,
You
Why
traitor!
are you a,
traitor.
why are you a massive racist? No, we're just starting to say insults.
Even add that to it, just like
Yeah,
you sell your
exactly.
Kiss stuff, you're
Yeah,
automatically
exactly.
a racist
Yeah,
too.
yes,
You know.
exactly.
That's right. All right. So you decide you started talking to us in the background when we would record episodes about this at least last year sometime to us.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you've been thinking about it, but could you just kind of go through the process of what made you decide that now is the time?
Yeah, I've been sort of easing into this actually over the last 5 or 6 years. So I had a pretty extensive poster collection going a ways back, and I sold pretty much all of that, almost all of that. There are a few posters that'll be on key posters that I've left to be a part of this upcoming auction, but that started the whole thing, the ball rolling, if you will, 4 or 5 years ago. And then about that same time, I really got back into vinyl, kind of full circle back to where it all started for me. Vinyl, I love it. Not only Kiss, but all kinds of other artists and Beatles and various collectibles. And it's kind of full circle for me back to where it all started, which is the medium that I listened to Kiss, where I fell in love with Kiss, the posters, the booklets, the tattoos, the inserts, the whole thing, and just kind of fell into that. So yes, I just kind of made the decision to draw the line in the sand, if you will, and just say, okay, look, I'm going to keep the vinyl, all vinyl related stuff. So I'm a big, Japanese collector of the Japanese vinyl. So any point of sale posters and the bags and the pins and badges, stuff that went with the vinyl, I'm keeping.
Okay.
So this is strictly all the memorabilia. And like I said, there are a few posters, but all the memorabilia. And both my kids, as you probably know, I mean, they're musicians.
Right.
They love Kiss. They appreciate Kiss, but they don't have a emotional connection to that 70s stuff that we grew up with, the stuff that we remember from our childhood. They don't really have that same connection. And somebody put out, I want to say it was about a year ago on social media. It said something, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was, a lot of people think they're going to pass on to their kids this amazing collection worth a fortune, but really what you're leaving them is a burden. If you want to leave them something, sell your stuff and buy them gold. I'm not doing that. I'm not planning to sell and then go buy gold. But that sort of sentiment wasn't lost on me. I felt like, look, if something happened to me, or my kids, they wouldn't know what to do. I mean, they know maybe to reach out to you guys, or you know what I mean. It would just be a lot. I just felt like it was a good time, and as much as they love it, I think it needs to go on to good homes. Jacques reached out to me.
I could see with instructions leaving it to them, like, sell the Durst to Kill press kit. No, not, and it says, no, not that one. No,
and do not take less than, blank. And
right.
Watch out for this guy. He'll try and rip you off.
Yes.
Matrix number SLR.
I mean, my wife and she knows that, there's a fair amount invested in this, but she's even like, I wouldn't know. I don't know. It's your thing. And you know what I mean? She just, she's supportive, and I come in running in all excited, showing something, but she's like, okay, cool. Well, good.
Well,
you do worry about vultures. Like, I mean, I know Jason helped out. You helped out a widow, didn't you? But I think if there was someone, but sometimes there can be people who will just come in and try and rip off the person and try and get off and not actually help out. So you do have to worry about that after you go, whether you're, the people who know nothing about this could end up losing a chunk of what could be there. So it's actually smarter to do it now while you're in control of.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on that a little bit, with that situation with me and a member of the group had passed away that I had been friendly with, and it was he was single. He didn't have a wife or anything, and so it was his sister and his brother that was left with all of this stuff. He died unexpectedly, so he's fairly young, in his early 50s, and early to mid 50s, and they didn't have any idea. And we had conversations. She was like, Jason, you could have come to me and said, I'll give you $2,000, and I would have given you all of that stuff. And so far, we've raised them, I don't know, probably $15,000.
That's great.
Just by selling in little auctions in in Kollectibles in the group,
Right.
And those press kits were a big hit,
Yeah.
We sold a lot of stuff, and I still have piles of stuff to go. I still have to do a vinyl auction for them. I haven't gotten to that yet. It's a lot of putting together, and it's kind of but
it's work. It's a little bit of work, isn't it?
It's a lot of work.
It's a
which
lot.
Is why I'm sure John went with an auction house, right? Because it's a lot.
Yeah,
of work.
because I sat with this. I mean, this wasn't an overnight decision. This was definitely a couple of years, and I thought, like, how do I want to do this? Do I want to deal with this? And I, when I'm not touring, I'm buying and sell vinyl online, which is a little bit easier to pack and sort of deal with. But still, you have the occasional lost package or didn't arrive as and you're dealing with all of that nightmare. And I was talking to another collector, and I know Jacques over at Backstage Auctions. I've bid on auctions in the past. Really nice guy. Anytime we play Houston, he's picked me up and taken me to the warehouse to look at stuff. I mean, just great guy. But he kind of caught wind of what I was thinking about, and he contacted me and is like, dude, let me do this for you. I'll do. And he, he's done an outstanding job. His team has done a great job photographing everything, putting everything together. He sent me a flash drive of all the photographs. So it's really great and odd to see everything sort of all in one place, kind of laid out and nicely photographed. And he sent me the flash drive. So I'll maybe we'll have a book made or something of all this stuff, because there is a certain amount of pride in like the collection I was able to curate. You know what I mean? I think like it's really that, I have this, it's kind of cool to have. And I can tell Jacques dealt with this and the vast array of emotions that a collector goes through. He deals with it very well. There's a sort of I don't know. He's a good therapist to kind of help you go through this process. He's obviously done this a few times. So
I had two questions for you. So to just think it before you go on. One, the first question was, with your collection that you had, was it easier did you have it displayed? And if you didn't have it displayed, was it easy to move on because it was just living in boxes? Or did you have it all out and go, I'm seeing this and now it's going to be gone?
That's a great question. There was about, I would say, a third of it that was out on display. Most of it, honestly, it's a great question, was stored. and was, lovingly and climate controlled stored, but it was stored. I had great plans to do the Gene Simmons lighted display cases, and I got like one or two. And then, 4,000 records takes a lot of space too. And so it's kind of like, so for the most part, it's in storage. So yes, that helped me. Like, look, somebody else might be able to display this, really enjoy it, and and it could be out and appreciated. Where I love having it, and in my mind, I'm like, anytime I see it online, like, cool, I have that. I've got that. I know I have. That's cool. I have that. But it's tucked away.
Yeah, it was a lot. What you had displayed was in front of you, right?
Yeah,
where you're at. Yeah, because
I know opposite side.
Opposite side, right? Because I know that after an episode we recorded one night, me, you, and Joe, we were talking about other records after we were done, and you flipped the camera around, and there it all was, and I was like, oh cow, look at that! Who knew?
Yeah.
Because I always just think of you. I mean, I know, from the last few years that we've, become friends, but
it's like a TV set. You could do Kiss My Collectibles this way, and then
just turn.
Okay, now we're recording Kiss My Wax. Kiss My Collectibles.
And that was it. And that's what we did. There was a few where the memorabilia was behind me, and then the others like this.
I thought of you as the final guy, but you've got to have an amazing merchandise collection that, man, it's really good stuff.
Thank you. And like Nicholas pointed out, unfortunately, not all of it was out. So that was, quite a bit.
I think it is that collector's sort of conundrum, right? Because I have a lot of stuff stored as well that I never even really take time to look at. And it's like, why do I have? I mean, I've said it many times on this show about the burden of collecting and, kind of that the darker side of collecting that Jason will never admit to. But it's that thing that I think we all wrestle with it sometimes. I even talk about the vinyl that I have and the stuff that's all around. It's like this little 16th inch of a spine, but you get that little endorphin rush when you get it, records on the doorstep, and you crack them open, you go, and then until the next time you play it. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Joe's been selling his vinyl collection for the last 8 years that I've known him.
That's right.
Right.
Still there.
I'm easing into it. See, John Humphrey is greasing the skids. He's teaching me how to do it.
You've got a store, you've got an outlet, and
people ask me what my collection is like at the store, and I'm like,
here
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you were saying though, about 4 or 5 years ago, you started kind of easing into it. So you started selling posters. I mean, but what made you take that leap? The initial leap of, I mean, you started hearing these people and just all of a sudden you just started reaching out to people and selling some posters. How'd that come along?
Yeah. There was a couple of collectors, honestly, that just we just started talking. We, how we as collectors send pictures to each other of different things that we have. Sure. And I had a couple of guys that I know, good friends with now, that were like, man, they just gave me some offers. They threw out some offers that I couldn't turn down.
Gotcha.
I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, that's it. And do you have any others? And I'm in and out on tour pretty crazy. And these posters are all rolled up and in poster tubes. And certainly I had plans to maybe frame, and I did frame a couple, but for the most part, they're stored away. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll get rid of the poster collection.
Yeah.
So that's what started. And I had one buyer in particular that bought, for the most part, all the posters.
Wow.
And that started it, but that was, 4 or 5 years
it's
ago.
Funny how it's just that one thing that tipped, like when I always said I was never selling anything. That was me, never selling anything. And I had a friend of ours, or John bought something, which I'm not going to say what he paid for, but he bought these 2 things which I'd scored a lot cheaper, and he offered me an amount, and I went, there's no one's going to offer me this again. So I thought, I'll just let those go. And once something went, I went, well, then other things can go. It was just that because I'd always been adamant, no, I'm keeping this. I love it. And then once one thing when I went, well, now that's missing, it's easy to let it go. And
that's right.
That kind of thing. It was just, it eased into it.
Well, I think once it becomes a commodity and you start realizing some cash on this stuff, because that's the other thing as collectors that we always talk about. We go, oh, I got it for $30 and it's worth $10,000, or I found this at an estate sale, or whatever it is, you know.
Right.
That's part of the collector's mentality, but it's worth nothing sitting back here. And you know, you know, if you hand this down to somebody, you're going to get probably 50 cents on the dollar at best for this stuff if somebody buys the entire collection. Right. So the way that you're going to the way that you're going to realize the real value of this stuff is starting to sell it right now at as close to retail value as you can. And I think once you do that a little bit, Nicholas and John, to your point, the floodgate, like the dam starts to break a little bit, and you're like, oh, well, I got money for that stuff. And I think all of our, except for Jason, all of our interests sort of change over time. And we go, oh, maybe I'm more into vinyl, and maybe, you know, Nicholas is more into Queen now, or less into memorabilia and more into vinyl, and same with me.
Yeah, however weirdly, my interest in Kiss Collectibles has not waned at all. I just got rid of the stuff.
Right.
And I still love it. I still run everything Kiss. I'm still on this podcast. I still check out all the posts all the time and comment on people's stuff and say,
you still have all the knowledge.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But no, but it still brings me enjoyment. Like every day when a person on our page posts something rare, I love seeing it. Just because I'm not holding on to it all anymore doesn't mean I've turned my back on Kiss Collectibles. I still love it. It brings me great enjoyment to see it. You know?
That's what you call defense mechanism and coping.
Well, I mean, and that's, you know, like I said,
that and an alcohol and cocaine problem. You know, and then
well, that goes without saying.
It makes me.
No, but really, I mean, maybe I'm pacifying myself for now, but that's why I'm like, okay, look, I'm into vinyl, so I'm keeping all vinyl, quote unquote, related material, right? So it's not like everything's gone. Sure. And even Jacques, he asked a few times, so no on the vinyl, not doing the vinyl right now. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
I love how he says right now. He's like planting a future.
He's smart. He's very smart. But I'm like, okay, no, I'm keeping. So all the Japanese related posters I still have. And
good.
You know, and then there's been things gifted to me over the years. Like when I play drums on the Eric Carr Unfinished Business album, Loretta, she gifted me several of the plaques she has commissioned with Eric Carr's name. Unmasked, Psycho Circus, what else do I have? Animalize, Lick It Up. And so those are gifts, and those I'm keeping, you know what I mean? They have you know, an emotional attachment, and that's different, you know, I feel anyway.
Speaking of personalized emotional attachments, when I was going through the auction today, the previews, I saw you're up against Beau Hill. And I started scrolling through all that Beau Hill stuff. Oh my God.
I haven't even looked at it. It's like,
oh my God. There are,
I can't imagine.
Pillows of, I mean, Rat and the Wingers, the three Winger brothers from 1983 or something, before when Kip was 16. Wow. And it was, you know, that's how he met Beau Hill, and that's how he got, you know, I mean, there is some insane stuff.
Is he a band member? Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's a producer. He was a huge producer.
Yeah. This is a great auction. And then, you know, there's not any overlap for me, right? There's no other Kiss, you know, the Kiss stuff. But yes, Beau Hill's part of this rock and pop auction, metal auction. And it's very cool. But I've purposely not gone there because I feel like Jacques will make a killing. I'll make some money, and then I'm going to spend it all on the Beau Hill stuff.
So,
just hold on to that cash.
The only one winning is Jacques.
That's right. What reminded me of that is he has all of his personalized gold and platinum, double platinum awards for all the Rat records, all the Warrant records, all the Winger records, whoever else he did. It's a ton of stuff. And I was
I'll give him $1.50 for it.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool Twinsky.
That's right. So one thing I wanted to do, I was showing the guys earlier, is we're going to throw up. We're gonna pull up the so this is being done at
Believe me, also okay.
That's right. This is being done at Backstage Auctions, and John has, folks, we'll scroll down here real quick. There are 4 pages.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff, and I don't know how many things are on, how many lots are on.
It's a little over 400 lots.
Okay, there you go. It's a lot of lots. Yes.
Lots of lots.
So this is John's, and it looks like the real heavy hitters are right up here at the beginning. So
yeah,
the first lot here, we're not gonna go over all of these lots, but I just wanted to go through and point out some of the really nice things that John has in his collection that'll be up for auction. Oh, which we should tell everybody starts this Saturday, correct?
that's right. The preview is up right now, but the auction starts on Saturday, April 5th, and will run through next Sunday, April 13th.
That's right. So the first auction here, KISS 1973 Academy of Music framed set list and pass from the Eddie Solon collection.
Yeah.
We'll click in here and look. If it pulls up, here we go. And so it's this really nice framed piece. I don't know how much you can make out of it there, but I'll just read a little bit.
You can hit click to enlarge. Do you see there right below?
Look at that. Can you guys?
The pop up didn't come up. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. You can.
Okay.
John can talk us through these. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you want to talk a little bit about this piece, John?
It's really cool, and actually, it's a double-sided piece of notebook paper. It's one side is the input list. Literally, Eddie, was doing sound. So yes, that's the input list. Mm-hmm. And it literally shows they had some technical difficulties and where he scratched out a drum mic and had to move it over to a vocal mic, I think to Paul. And so that's why they're not in order. But that's literally the input list, the mic input list for the show.
Yep. And then
the other side of it is the set list. And Deuce, of course, starts, and then what they didn't play, but Baby Let Me Go is at the bottom there, but it's in pencil, but there's the set list on the back. So it's amazing, man. I mean, that's
super cool.
We know as KISS fans how important that's the first real show.
Would that have been the set list for the mixer or not the band on stage?
That's right. Yes, that's the set list that they gave Eddie to let him know what songs the band were playing.
That's right. Yeah. What is? Hold on. I saw something. Maybe that Fire. So I assume that's Firehouse. Is that what that is? Fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Deuce, Cold Gin, Nothing to Lose, Strutter, Fire.
That was an electrical problem.
Let me know. 100,000 years. What is this after 100,000 years? I can't tell. BBC. I don't know. But then Baby Let Me Go. So
yeah.
Interesting. And then there's a pass that his pass that came.
Yes,
that's so cool.
That's his scratched out with KISS there.
And that's the actual Academy of Music in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. And so this thing is framed up and matted, and it's got.
I was just there when I was over there. I think I saw Dinosaur Jr. there.
Oh, that's cool.
Is that in Williamsburg?
That is now part of Academy of Music, which became the Palladium, which was Eric Carr's first show.
Right.
Then it's part of NYU now. It's still there, but it's I forget what they call the building now, but it's actually a part of the university now.
Interesting.
Oh, maybe it's maybe where I was it was different.
Yeah, it's Manhattan.
Yeah. So it's also got it's framed, matted, and all this stuff. It's got
and there's an actual review there that's framed, and then there's ads for the show. And as some may know, KISS aren't really listed on the ads, and there's a picture actually of the marquee outside, right dead center.
Right there. Yep.
And KISS is not even on the marquee.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
But here's
because they were a last second addition to the show.
So does this come as one framed piece or is
yes, I had that all put together and I put it it's all in one frame.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's cool.
So and then we'll move on. John has talked about this on the show before, but this is probably the most choice piece in my opinion of the whole auction. So we have the 1973-1974 original stage used Firehouse bell. It's got 2 letters of provenance in it. So John, you want to talk a little bit about this as it pulls up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is it, folks. This is the original Firehouse bell, and you can see Paul on ABC in concert go over to the bell and ring it on stage when they did Firehouse. Yeah. It later became something that was done off stage by one of the road crew. They would ring it for Firehouse for Gene's Fire Breathing, the big ending. But the first letter of provenance I had was from a gentleman who had a practice space, rehearsal space in the 70s in New York City, who had the bell and the extinguisher both, which is in another auction. in his possession for like 40 years. And I got it from him in a letter to explain how Kiss's crew had given it to him, and he had it for 40 plus years and was passing it on to me. Jacques just recently was able to have Moose, one of the first Kiss crew members, verify just this week as an additional letter of provenance, talking about, yes, this is in fact the bell and the extinguisher that was used by the band on the first tour in some of the earliest shows. So pretty cool.
Yes, very cool. So this has a, it's not cheap, folks, but it's well worth it. You're talking about one of a kind of stuff here. It does have a starting bid of $3,000, if you can see it right here. I would expect that to go way higher. As long as the right eyes are on it, that's an incredible piece.
And it's really cool. So the fire extinguisher, Jason, if you click on it real quick, actually came with it. What makes that kind of neat is of course, that was on the side of the stage, as in the event Gene's hair would catch fire or anything would catch fire, which it did on occasion, but which is really cool. It's got the very first Kiss sticker, that silver sticker's on there.
Right there.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the first official merch items the band ever had.
Did they cut that out? Did they cut that out, or was that sticker always peeling?
That sticker was like a decal, and you would peel off the logo and it would stick like that. So
that's right.
Awesome. That's great.
And so this came from the same gentleman you got the bell from.
Yeah, those were together.
Kind of the same story. It was part of the band or the crew or whatever screwed up damaged his rehearsal studio thing, right?
The flooring, and they gifted him
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and he had this forever. And
and Moose has also looked at this.
Yeah,
and also has authenticated it, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool piece.
Pretty awesome.
Yep. So we'll go through a few other things here. There's a few things that I definitely want to touch on down the list some, but John has a Cadillac High School yearbook signed by Paul and Gene.
I had that. Yeah, I had the sign them myself. I had them sign that, and I had it done myself. I had the book, but I had them sign it for me.
Look at that.
At a meet and greet. So yeah.
Look at that. That's so cool.
Wow.
It's a very, very famous yearbook. If you can get your hands on it, this is a nice one right here. So, and then John has other various lots of things that are signed through here. Here's a signed MTV Unplugged set list.
Yeah,
has a COA, some other various signed photos as we just kind of scroll through here, and merchandise. But then you get down to there's some cool vintage T-shirts, Dynasty, Alive 2, that 1980 with Eric Carr on it. Super cool. But then we get down here, John has he has a whole slew of press kits up through Creatures of the Night. And what I love is he has the first 3 complete with the envelopes.
Wow.
So
and like Jason and I were talking before we started recording, it was amazing. So when I first got this set, it didn't have the photo of Gene, and it didn't have the envelope. And I found them both separately, just randomly at a later time, and was able to kind of put it together. But, as we all know, collecting the Army kits and the press kits, that, sometimes they're not complete, and we go down those rabbit holes of, trying to complete it and wanting to complete it. So I was able to do that.
That green thing doesn't always show up either.
Actually, one of these two show up a ton of times in the first press kit.
Right.
Yeah. So they're
sorry. Keep going.
No. Yeah, it's and I love these. These were pretty tough to let go of. Those first 3 press kits, I just love them, man. They're the color schemes. They're classic. They're beautiful. They're works of art, in my opinion.
They really are.
And I wanted them to have, once I was able to complete one with the envelope, I had to get the other 2. And I remember at one point, the Dress to Kill, somebody I had bought the set from didn't even have the envelope. They had cut the logo out of the envelope, and I had that for the longest time.
No.
Just the logo. and then finally was able to get the envelope. But yeah.
And so sorry, go ahead, Nicholas.
I was just going to say, I was thinking why I love the first 3 so much is because when it gets to later, they're just kind of, in most cases, replicating the album cover.
Right.
And like with the first 2, with the first 3, they're almost like bespoke designs around that theme. But as soon as you get to Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun, they're pretty much just long versions of the cover. There's something magical about these, just doing something special for these albums.
Yeah, so we're here in Hotter Than Hell, and this is the one, John, you said really, kicked it off to where you wanted to find these envelopes, right?
Right. This was the first one I was able to get the envelope, and I'm like, okay, I've got to find the other 2.
Got to find the others. It's just so amazing. And then, of course, he has Dressed to Kill with the envelope as well.
Yeah. And like I said, that the first time, at first, all I had, somebody had cut the logo out, so I had to find the envelope at another time, which I was able to do.
It's just amazing. So, and then here's something you don't see very often either. A lot of collectors will say, well, there was a press kit, with a folder for all of the albums up through Creatures of the Night, but there never wasn't a live press kit. And that's not entirely true.
Right.
There is an actual press kit. There was a bio written up.
Yeah.
And there were photos. And I guess these were probably just mailed out in envelopes, just regular manila envelopes, and they just didn't print any special envelopes. So
so unique, right? Their biggest album, or the one that set it all in motion, they had these 3 beautiful press kits for the first 3 albums, but for live it was pretty basic. It was
they were nearly going bankrupt at one time, and so all promotional material for that album was just nil. There just almost wasn't anything,
right?
And so they clearly weren't spending any extra money, but they did do these awesome promo shots. And then a couple of things here. I think a couple of these actually, I think this might appear in the Destroyer one as well, and some of them. But the main thing here is this bio, which is specific to Alive, and then these 4 photos. So that's pretty neat that you have that.
Yeah.
And then of course you have all the rest, Destroyer through Creatures,
and I had the reunion boxes in there in another lot. That huge press kit for that.
Oh yeah.
Anything interesting in these? Just before we go into Kiss Army kits, was there anything weird that you hadn't seen in any of these, or is it pretty much you've just kind of got a full kind of collection of?
And I just went and tried to find all the little stickers and things that were added on. And I will say, Nicholas, my favorite part of my collection were the press kits and the Army kits. I just loved them.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, by the time I was old enough to be a part of the Kiss Army, it was the last one, the explosion one, and shortly thereafter it was the letter and patch about how, unfortunately we're no longer doing the Kiss Army. So when I was able to go back and really dive into the Kiss Army kits and collect them, I really prided myself. I just love these things, man. These are a lot of joy in putting all this together.
I agree with you, man. Some of my definitely top 5 favorite things in my collection are these press kits.
Yeah,
just amazing. So
the 2 Australian press kit, Army kits are in there.
I know we're getting there. That's something. So you have all the U.S. Army kits here.
Yeah,
and these things are very extensive. There's a lot of stuff in them. If you look here, gosh, look how cool all of that is.
So good.
Super neat. A lot of cool stuff here. But that's what I wanted to get to is you had here is the 1980 Kiss Army Australian kit number 1.
Yeah.
And let's see. So it reuses folders and stuff from earlier press kits, but then you get these extra
Eric Carr.
Yeah, so it still has Peter's stuff in it, but you also get some extra Eric Carr stuff, and then you get what is that? What is this?
What is that? What is that one?
What is that, John? This is
Well, I'm trying to see it. It's a letter.
map or something.
Yeah.
It's a treasure map.
Is it a map for one of the shows? Like
Dear Trooper, let's see. It's hard to say, but yeah, there's a map drawn on here. George Street and Circle K or something. I don't know. It's the march. It's where the march is going to be.
Oh,
leads you to the Honda Kissmobile. It's like a treasure map to go.
So you got all of these newsletters and stuff that are specific to Australia.
Yeah, the stuff we didn't get in the U.S.
That's right. And then the really cool one is the number 2 kit, which has the Elder folder.
Yeah, I had that one. That was a great one.
And then there's the whole kit.
There's so much in that one, and I always remember when I had that, I was it just almost repeats itself. Like it's got like in varying degrees, sizes of the band, isn't it?
Photos,
it's like little cards and photos, and then
all the backwards Paul photos and.
Right. So. What is this up here? 1980 Kiss Army USA final letter with patches and.
Okay, and I actually got this as a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yes, which is, sorry. I was able to get one kit, and then my next kit wasn't a kit at all. It was this saying, I'm sorry, the Kiss Army is no longer. So thank you. And
it says the Kiss Army newsletter has been discontinued. Inasmuch as there will not be another issue to complete your order, we are enclosing a logo and patch valued at $3.75 to make up the difference. You can be sure that when and if the newsletter becomes available again, you'll be among the first to know.
I'm still waiting.
Ovaltine, son of a bitch.
That's great. We've got a 1980 UK Kiss Army fan club kit.
Yeah, pretty cool.
There's some cool. Look at that. Look at all that stuff. Joe is in heaven. I know he is.
Yeah, there's some great ones, and the great things with those little booklets, because I had all those. They've also got amazing little merch pages on those. Like those are fascinating in themselves, and there's some weird items like the Elder clock and like strange kind of belts and wristbands, and it's really fascinating. If you hunt those down, you can get to see what they were selling around that time.
Wow.
What I'm always blown away with any of these collections that I see is how much stuff there was. It just is incredible how much stuff Kiss put out as an organization. It's just, and stuff that even as, the collectors that we are, you'd think we've seen most of it. And sometimes I can't believe I've never even seen that thing. And it's really amazing. Amazing, the quantity of stuff.
Agreed.
Here we are. Still discovering this stuff all these years later.
That's right. Stuff still being found all the time. So then we get into John's tour books. We have Alive here and Destroyer. I assume Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over. You said you had 2 variant programs, so probably the Japan 77, Japan 78. You guys know what this is. There's a Creatures, and then get into songbooks. Whole lot of songbooks here. Yeah, and then comics.
I'll take them.
And then Peter Criss, Rolling Stone, that his ad ran.
Oh yeah,
West Coast, the East Coast version with his ad in it.
Yep, that's right. 1972. That's great.
I found that on Amazon.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
A guy had a huge lot. This would have been 10 years ago. He had a huge lot of various years. I messaged him and said, "Do you have this year, month, date, East Coast version?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." And
yes, working with Peter, I've seen probably about 10 of these come through the line, and they had him sign it right off to the side of his ad right here.
That's cool.
Pretty cool
That's so cool.
Come through. We've got lots of magazine lots. The cool magazines from the 70s and stuff. But then we get into some promotional posters that are really cool.
Yeah.
And calendar. So we've got the Hotter Than Hell calendar poster / whatever. Super hard to come by. And then I noticed he kept the same wording, John, when he put 1974 Hotter Than Hell Casablanca Records promotional calendar poster. Mm-hmm. And then on the Dress to Kill promo poster, he put Dress to Kill Casablanca Records promotional calendar.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell him about that.
Yeah, it's just a poster, folks, but this is a thing of beauty. There she is. That's the Dress to Kill promo poster. So, some other posters. What else we got here that we want to touch on? Oh, here we go. Got the debut promotional with the lips on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Fantastic
piece. Then we have the lips pin, and this one was owned by Bobby McAdams, which was a buddy of Ace Frehley's.
Yeah.
So you got the lips pin there. Very, very cool. I don't have either of those in my collection. I'll be looking at them.
Nice. There's that kind of a cool LP divider.
Yes, this is another thing I'll be watching too. Is this Alive 2 bin divider? That's why I told you, man. I need about $15,000. There's
it's a cool one.
You don't see these very often. There's a couple of bin dividers from the 70s. You don't see them very often.
That one doesn't pop up. Yeah,
it just does not pop up. Then you've got some more promotional displays here. An Unmasked Cube, Dynasty Pyramid. You've got the Crazy Nights bin divider. And I was confused at what this was, and I had to read it. It's the bottom of one of the arrows.
Yeah.
Which one? Double platinum or?
Yeah, double platinum.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So somebody cut the arrow off of the bottom of it.
Right.
Double platinum. So
maybe it was damaged and bent or something like that.
Might have. Yeah.
So this one brought a question up. Why did you decide to sell these in a lot instead of selling at least the pyramid and the cube separately?
That would be a question for Jacques. I kind of trusted him on putting some of these lots together, and he put these to And so the Unmasked is still in the bag, unused, never been put together.
Right. Mm. Oh yeah, let's look at that. There you go. You still have the.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Okay. This is great.
Yeah.
My buddy Pat Lucero has one of these too. 1976 Peter Criss business card. Look at that.
Yeah.
Glickman Marts. Those are neat. You never see these.
Yeah.
These never come up. Super cool piece. You got the 1977 Madison Square Garden tickets and the after show party invitation. Yeah. These never come up either.
Yeah. I got that from Peter Arquette years ago.
There you go. Peter just put if you don't know, if everybody doesn't know, Peter Arquette just recently retired. And, but I was talking to him on FaceTime a couple of weeks ago. He was at my buddy Pat's house, and we talked for like 3 hours on FaceTime. We should have recorded it for an episode. It was cool as hell. But he just bought a collection from somebody that had a lot of cool vintage stuff in it. And he just posted the stuff a couple of days ago on Kiss Museum, which hasn't had anything up in several months. And I bought a nice piece from him that I'm going to have to sell some stuff to pay for.
Oh, so he's kind of putting stuff back on there again? Or
no, he's
the Kiss and Motley Crue of
that's right.
Farewell, but not really.
Having farewell to I'm back.
He said somebody approached him with a very nice collection that he just couldn't pass up. The deal was too good to pass up, and it had the first album promo poster. It had a Chikara 88 Eric Carr drum. It had a piece that I bought that I don't want to talk about.
Just a couple of days ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a couple of days ago, but some really great stuff.
This is cool, Jason. There at the very top, the kind of white, the double platinum award.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that? This is kind of cool. Let's point this out real quick. This is the actual original graphic art.
Awesome.
Joe, you'd appreciate this, yeah? For the award insert. And it was like tracing paper, laid over. and had notes about the red coloring had to be the certain red that was also used for Alive 2. And I forget all the notes there, but that's the original. That's the graphic art for that award. I can't imagine ever in my life owning something, that album as a kid. I loved it, wore it out, had the award, of course, like everyone, hung it on my wall. And that I had the original graphic art used to make that thing. I think it's just kind of cool.
That's awesome. See, right here, what you're talking about. I don't know what it does when I click to supersize it on your screen, but it says match red from Kiss Alive 2.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
Joe, when you first went into the design, because you're a couple of years older than me, I did all this at college, but by the time I got to the industry, it was all computers. Did you ever have the trace ups in your actual work?
No, it was the same for me. Yeah, it was.
You did it at college,
but yes, I did. There was a keylining course in college, and then I think one of my internships might have been was in a keylining department, and then by the end of that summer, they had closed that down and moved everything to what they were calling desktop publishing at the time.
Yeah.
So I was right at the end of that sort of conventional keyline work.
So we going on to page 2 here. We've got several or a few lots of photos here. Looks like there's some stuff from Eddie Solin's collection. So some photos. We've got a 76 official coin management logo chain.
Now, does that have 76 or 75 at the back? Because I thought John
I think 76.
And he had one that said 1975 on the back, so they must have redone this. I think it was this one.
This one says 76, Nicholas.
Yeah. Because I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw 75. I don't think I'd ever seen 75 or anything. And have a look at, if you get a chance, go through. I think it's on Knights Insane Service. Have a look at the back, and it says 75 on it. Weirdly.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. So there must be two
that would
variants.
Be really early.
Right.
Yeah.
Some more buttons. We got the Rock and Roll Over button and the Madison Square Garden button and I Was There button. And but here's another nice piece. Super nice piece. Here is a boxed toy guitar, steel sealed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see those very often.
Is that the steel or the nylon string? That's steel. Wow. Okay. Cool.
It says the steel.
Yeah. It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So they called this one technically the deluxe model. The other one was just all nylon. It's great.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the nylon was on the cardboard, and the one that was on this was the steel and nylon combo. Although, however, because it was the 70s, that sometimes you found the wrong one in the wrong packaging. But yeah, basically that was it.
And did the nylon was it a black guitar neck, or just sometimes it had a?
No, that was very rarely. But from memory, the Kiss logo is sometimes, I have to go back through my book. The Kiss logo is sometimes outlined and sometimes it's black. And also sometimes the neck markers are square, rectangular, red or black, I can't remember. And sometimes they're dots. So there are lots of variants.
So that would change up too.
Yeah, lots of
because they just would have like the phono thing with the
different arms and
the different arms. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, different tone arms based on parts they had. I'm imagining.
Yep. Here, this one's pretty interesting. Not just the boxed radio, but a sealed box radio.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty neat.
No money spared in packaging.
That's right. And then a lot of your very popular vintage stuff that a lot of people have in their collections, but still amazing things. The lunchbox, the model van.
Yeah, sealed. I was always pretty picky about condition. So
you can tell. Lots of belt buckles. There's a few in here that I'm going to go after. I don't have this one. This one's a really cool one, 77 red on dark blue. I don't have that. That one doesn't come up very often.
That was a Craigslist find.
Oh, that's amazing. You got some of the stick pins and the bracelets and stuff. Now here's another sealed Destroyer and Love Gun puzzles. Here's another nice piece that doesn't pop up too often. It's the poster art set. Those are cool. What else? We got the Love Gun and Destroyer mirrors. And we have a Tiger record player with a counterfeit box, John Humphrey.
It's fully disclosed.
I know it is. So. I totally get it. So,
yeah. I always had hoped to find an original box. I never did, and found this player was so clean.
Yeah, it still has the tone arm taped down.
And you can see it still has the string that's attached to that sort of that arm where the tag would hang.
Yep.
But it still has the string. I mean, it's completely
and that is that the tone arm with the line from. It's hard to see. Yes.
Yeah, the line
rather than flat one. Yeah, cool.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So, but it's still taped down. It's never been used. So that's a nice piece. You've got the trash can.
It is counterfeit tape, though, unfortunately.
That's right. You've got the complete set of the Collegeville Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
You've got all 8 Magic Market cups, sealed Wallace pencils, sealed Wallace pens, the rock sticks, puffy stickers sealed. I mean, just all of the goods here, man.
All 3 makeup kits.
All 3 makeup kits. Are they sealed?
2 of them are sealed.
Yeah, I didn't look at that earlier. I want to look at that. Oh yeah, 2 are sealed.
Wow.
That's great.
And which the 3 versions is that? Let's see.
So it's the first one's the Chris mistype, right? They don't call him Peter. They have Chris.
3, cool.
The second one, which is the corrected version with Peter.
Yep.
And then the third one, which has that little burst on the cover on the front there, something about
it's water soluble.
Yeah, water soluble, right?
Yeah, these are watercolor paints, and this is grease paint kind of.
Those are grease paints, and now the second and third one are the sealed ones, and that first one with the misprint. Oh, and the logo, was different too on that first one.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't have the gradient color in the logo.
There's also and from memory, there's something about Gene's thing on the back which is different. Like they fixed, I forget what it is. They fixed up a spelling or something. I can't remember. You may be able to see on Gene's type, but you probably can't see it on there. But there's something wrong on one. Oh yes, bass, BASE guitarist.
Oh, BASE,
yeah.
Wow,
they fixed that last. Sorry, I'm obsessed.
I think this one is fixed here, Nicholas. This does say bass, BASS, but this one says BASE.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's great.
I don't think I ever knew about the typo on the back. That's cool.
Plus, plus the booklets are different because the first booklet had the refills and the microphone, and then the later booklet, I think those 2 items are gone from inside the booklet. So technically, there are variant booklets within the within the makeup kit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's got the on tour game sealed. Nice. It's got the Migos. I want to see how nice these are. Oh, those are nice. Super nice. Love it. Migos. Oh, and more belt buckles. I'll be going after this one. This is like the pea green one that doesn't pop up often.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
I had a whole box of just buckles, and Jacques was just like, "Holy crap, dude!"
Yeah.
That orange one's hard to find too. The orange arrow version below the blue. Yeah, that's sometimes hard to find too.
Yeah,
whereas the blue one's easier to find.
Yeah. Cool. So this was something that surprised me, John, was all of this stuff that you have.
Yeah.
Of course, you have the 4 solo album 3-inch buttons here.
Yeah.
But you only have the Peter signature necklace like all of us do. And you didn't have the whole set. And
you'll see that the other card is actually the Australian Kiss. It's the Kiss logo with the ace, saying on the back.
That's right.
That was always, I never were able to get the 4 complete necklaces and stick pins. Those were something I wasn't able to do.
Yeah, those are tough. We've got, series 1 and 2 complete Donruss boxes of cards.
Yes, because I think from memory the I can't see it, but the card they've just scratched out Ace from the Australian one, but they have I think still kept 1978 because they haven't bothered to remove. Is it? I don't think it says 1980, even though that came out in 1980.
No, it says 1978 at the bottom.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they've just scratched the name out of the film kind of thing.
Yeah, Ace's signature.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Do you have those, Jason? Do you have a set?
No, I do not have a set. No, I just have Peter, like all of us do. So
yeah, and that weird Peter's like always in every other scenario, like solo album, like the 83, 84, right? Peter's like the rarest one. But for some reason on the signature necklaces, you can always find the Peter.
There was a warehouse find in the 90s on it, I think, right, Nicholas?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was a big warehouse find on it, and they flooded the market, and everybody has them. So
I also used to have, and I picked this up super cheap at one of those kind of giant warehouse things. Was a sideways version of the. It was like I think it was a necklace or a pendant, and it looks almost the same as that blue Ace one, but it's sideways. And I think John bought that one from me.
Gotcha. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Only Australia.
So here's the sleeping bag, and what's cool about this is he has the insert that goes with it,
which wins the award for the single worst reproduction of the KISS logo in history. That is, it's like literally you couldn't get any worse.
This is what they looked at when they were making the Hot in the Shade logo.
Exactly.
Just go off that, blow that up.
The giant.
Blow that up. That's perfect.
The Asylum logo. Yeah.
Now here's something that I'll be going after too. I don't have this towel. So this is the Cubes towel. I need one, and that looks like a nice one to me.
Yeah.
So, and then you have the other 78 beach towel. Now here we go.
This is kind of cool. Yeah.
There's the JCPenney's cassette case. But what's awesome about this is he has the shipping box.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I think he took one side of it and still has. It went to a Sears or JCPenney. JCPenney.
Yeah, that's where they were sold.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. If you look at that ad in the Christmas catalog, which I have, there's a friend of ours in the group, Stephen Ross, overseas, who's trying to recreate that catalog page.
Yeah.
So he has it framed and matted, and he's buying all the pieces with the shipping boxes that he can find.
Wow.
I just bought the toy guitar in the box, and I think he's got this with the box, and he's after he has the mic, the amp with the local mic and stuff, and he I think one of the only things he needs is the record box with the
and I had a couple of opportunities at different times to get that, and just lost out or whatever it was.
Was JCPenney's a store, or was it only a mail order catalog?
No, it was a store.
It was a department store. It was both, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Sears. They had locations, and you could order from them. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we've got the Viewmaster reels, rub and play, and color forms, notebooks. You've got a sealed backpack here.
Yeah.
We've got 2 Dynasty tour sponges that fell from the crystal ball at on the Dynasty show.
Yeah.
You have a separate back glass. Click on this for the pinball machine. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And an unused playfield.
Yeah, that was a not original 70s playing field. I think that one was made in 2002.
Oh, I see. So it's I got it. It's a replica replacement.
Yeah.
Australian coins. We've got an Australian mirror here. These are also tough to come by. With the frame.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, the frames are sometimes harder. They don't always come with the frame.
That's right. We've got what the hell is it called?
Yeah, the double view with
double view. Thank you. with the actual double view viewer.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So if you want to buy it, break it open and watch it.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Right? And then the show beam with the show beam box that actually shows Kiss on the back of it.
Yeah.
It actually says Kiss down here in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're almost essential great things for, like, even though they're technically probably not Kiss themed, you kind of go, they're sort of essential extras to have with it, just to have that like genuine kind of 70s feel kind of thing.
And
like,
I
love the green one.
Of course, I wasn't cool enough to have the double view or show beam as a kid, but I had the ViewMaster,
right.
the 3D ViewMaster for sure.
Yeah,
I just watched those photos over and over and over.
I don't know if the others even made it out here, but definitely ViewMasters were going all the way up to like the late 80s in different types of things.
Now here is
the Dutch one.
Here's the Monty cards set with the box, which is, I have the set of 100 cards, but I don't have the box. That's incredible. It looks like it's signed. Who's it signed?
Yeah, it's a wonderful signature by Peter.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a great mood that night.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell. We've got one of the Australian beach towels. There's two different sizes of this, right, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Of the beach, of the Australian one?
Yeah, the Australian one.
Because but it's weird. I think from memory, the graphic is exactly the same size. This towel's just bigger. So on the other version, you get like a massive amount of white around it.
And yes, and it's just this little graphic like in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It does look very odd.
You've got the diary from Australia. You've got the Lady Jane comb set complete in the little shipper box.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Those things are brittle as hell too.
Yes.
Right. Some really nice 8-tracks here and a lot of sealed stuff.
Yeah.
But here was the really, really, really impressive lot. The Canadian and US sets both sealed. Unbelievable. So I'll be watching that. And
I'm having second thoughts now. No, I just
we've convinced him into keeping it all.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, just make that check out to Humphrey, Humph.
Exactly. At twice the price you paid for them.
Now this lot, John, I know you trusted Jacques to do this.
Yeah.
I would not have lotted this up.
Yeah.
This is Unmasked Creatures, The Elder, Animalize, and Lick It Up, and a couple others, all sealed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Individually, especially Creatures, The Elder, and Lick It Up. Those are, I mean, I would have sold those separately.
Okay.
I think you'd have gotten a lot more money for them. But this is
Worst
a great.
Jacques ever.
Yeah. This
You had one job, Jacques.
Yeah.
Great lot. Great lot, John. I can't believe you have all those sealed. And then we move on in here. John has all of the reel-to-reels. There were 7 of them, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Those are amazing.
Yeah. These are tough to come by, especially this one.
Yeah. That one.
Dynasty is hard to find. And it's beautiful shape. But yeah, there were only 7 of these made: Alive, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, Alive 2, Double Platinum, and Dynasty. There are no others. And then John has this outtakes recording, which has since been transferred.
Yes. Yeah.
I have those songs, digital versions of those songs, All for Nothing, and then the instrumental.
What's all for nothing, Jason?
It's an Ace song that did not make the solo album.
Yeah, and there's it's and there's not a vocal track. It's just an instrumental.
Yeah, there's no vocal track, and I'm in Need of Love also is an instrumental. But yeah, that All for Nothing is a totally a song that never made the album. So it's excellent.
Pretty cool.
Yep. You've got the Black Box promotional solo album promotional set. These things are super cool. This is where, you know, the radio station would receive this tape and they would basically conduct an interview. They had a list of questions in the book. They would read the questions and play the tapes, and the guys would answer the questions, quote, you know, answer the questions.
Yeah,
on
and each radio station guy would just put their own questions in.
That's right.
Read them.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you got it, if they accidentally got it wrong and they were answering every question that was like the one after it.
That's funny.
That probably happened.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Here's some cassette lots, and then you have some 3/4 inch. You know, this was for, you know, stations.
Yeah.
Use these tapes. So 3/4 inch video master reels for the Cadillac news report spot. This would be what they use to play on the actual air.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Pretty neat. And then there's transfers of it right there. So he has that, and he has the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder, the famous interview. These are super cool to have. You know, there were several of these because all the TV stations had them.
Right.
But this shit got thrown away.
Oh yeah.
So to have it is pretty amazing. So here's a Blood Cup, 1996.
Yeah.
Did you get that while you were opening for them?
No, I got that later actually.
Oh, interesting. So
yeah.
I got, you know, if I'd have been you on opening for them on that tour, I'd have been picking up everything they spit on and threw away. You know?
Oh yeah, and I, you know, tons of picks, and Peter gave me a pair of sticks.
Amazing.
Yeah, but the and the Paul guitar I got at a later time as well.
Oh yeah.
When you opened for them, John, were you allowed to stand stage side and watch them, or did they not allow that?
Yeah, they wouldn't allow you to be side stage, but I always went down front, and usually there would be a group of people that had just watched us play that were cool enough to let us kind of stand with them. So I was front row for every show we opened. You know,
that's amazing.
I'd go back. It was the time of my life, man.
How many did y'all do? Do you remember how many shows y'all did?
Yeah, we did 6 shows over 2 weeks because you know they were doing multiple nights.
Right.
So like, you know, they did the 4 nights at Madison Square Garden. We opened the last night, but we spent the whole week in New York, and our passes were good for all the shows. So I went to every Madison Square Garden show.
That's amazing. And this was when you were with the Nixons. This was
yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
So some more guitars here. And then this is a pretty neat little story, I guess. I read this whole story about this Firehouse hat. This isn't a 70s Firehouse hat, but
no,
there was a fan that made this hat, brought it to have it signed, I guess, at a meet and greet. Is that right?
Yeah, had it signed at a meet and greet. And there's a DVD that comes with it of the guy, you know, talking to Paul in line and showing him the hat. And Paul's just thinking there's the DVD. Yeah. And Paul just thought it was the coolest thing, and he's like, "Man, I should wear this tonight. Would you mind? And I'll get it back to you." And he was freaking out, like, "How are you going to get it back to me?" And he goes, "Don't worry, my security guy will get it back." So, he,
and there's Paul wearing it that night.
There's the photo of him wearing it.
Yeah,
he got it back to the guy.
And it's signed and then beautifully.
Yeah, see, I mean, like, it's not an original 70s one, but Paul wore it on stage, so it's a stage-worn costume. It's perfect.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
And as it says in here, one of the very few times that he actually wore one in the last 28 years, because he never did it, you know?
Right. And in fact, somebody had pointed it out to us that I think he did it 1 or 2 other occasions. I thouut it was the only time he had, you know, did it in the 21st century. Really, I didn't know that he had done it more than that. You know,
it's because the fire hat would pull the wig off. So
right.
It technically could.
Yeah. So you have a signature Epiphone Les Paul, Ace Frehley Les Paul in the case.
I still have my Budokan Epiphone. He signed to me, so of course I kept that.
Keep that.
Yeah.
So we move on to page 3, and there are lots. We won't get into them. But there are lots of picks and sticks. Lots and lots of picks and sticks, as you can see.
Can you discuss each pick?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
In any of all the reunion picks, you know, I got myself. Well, and even the original stuff. They were all picks that I got.
This is pretty neat right here. This is a Balls of Fire. Peter Criss's band Balls of Fire. They played, I think, 6 or 7 shows total. They didn't play any more than that. And again, my friend Pat Lucero was, I believe, at 5 of them because they were all in California. And he was at 5 of them, and he photographed all of them. He was friends with Peter at the time. He photographed all of those shows, and he's recently taken the negatives and made copies of those and sent them to Peter and Gigi, and they have a whole big folder. I looked through it. It's beautiful.
That's cool.
Have they made it out there? I'm not sure if I've seen his Chris Penridge Alliance photos, but I don't know if I've seen too much of Balls of Fire.
No, Pat's photos have never circulated. These are completely 100% uncirculated photos.
Yeah.
So, but he only made copies for Peter. Peter has them now. Peter has copies of them now from the negatives. So
yeah.
And anyway, just amazing story. So it's cool that this flyer, when I read that, he was like, "Oh my God, I was at that show. That's amazing that he has that, because this is just, this is rare."
Yeah.
Super rare.
And that was one of the last things I probably got that just a couple of years ago.
Wow. Super neat. Now we start to get into more of the later years kind of stuff.
Yeah.
96 on kind of thing. There's some 90 on stuff. But lots of tour programs from, the last 30 years.
Right.
Books from the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Magazines, same time period. There's a lot of stuff in here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here's that press kit you were talking about. The reunion tour.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
Yeah. So it's a box.
Yeah.
And it's got all of these photos and posters, and that is super cool, man. All of these write-ups, the Kiss classics.
Yeah.
That's super neat.
VHS, the format of the time.
Right. Then we got the Psycho Circus press kit, which actually has a folder, which is cool.
I love the press kits.
I love them too.
Even those, the later ones are cool.
Yep. Miscellaneous press lots and stuff. Here's an interesting little piece. 1991 Eric Carr original funeral prayer card.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's so cool. What else we got here? More photos. A bunch of CDs.
Lots of CDs.
Yeah. A whole bunch of CDs. There's the Japanese Kissology. Japan.
That's a cool set.
It's a super cool set because you could make the 70s, I think the 77 stage or something. Yeah,
it's like a pop-up thing,
which that was great.
Of course, me being OCD, I never put it together.
Yeah.
But
a little crystal ball, I remember. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Such a cool.
I love the little flyer too. That's
yeah.
It's like an instruction thing of how to put it together. I see.
Yeah, it's so cool. So this is a great piece. More CD, a lot of like we all had back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh yeah, there's even, and I forgot when he put it up, there's a VHS lot. Yeah. Just like, hand labeled. Those are my tapes, man, from when I went to record shows in the late 80s and 90s. And those are the tapes that I wore out watching Kiss shows that's my drawing the logo very crudely. Yeah. I'm like, I didn't realize that with it's like, holy crap.
I still have all of mine in 2 or 3 tubs in there. Exactly. Looks just like this looking, I bought so many tapes from Peter Arquette.
Yes.
Just
wore them out.
Here's some Vans shoes and stuff. You've got some of the Vans shoes. The Dynasty Bears.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pieces from the 90s.
I didn't really go into much of the Spencer stuff. That was about it.
But those were really cool. I always thought they were cool.
Because there was never a Dynasty theme to anything that ever came,
right
back in the day.
And then the last page here. You have a lot of people. I have the Destroyer and Creatures, but they did these for when the box sets came out for Destroyer and Creatures. They did these huge banners that they sent to certain independent record stores that you could go stand in front of and take photos. And they are massive.
Massive.
What does it say here? 30 by 42 inches. I thought they were bigger than that. Oh, no, sorry. It's 12 feet long by 7 feet wide. That's how big.
Yeah.
And
it's like Spinal Tap, and it comes really small.
Yeah.
And it has Velcro on the back outer edges, and it would go over a metal frame the store had with the Velcro.
That's correct. They sent them a frame so they could set it up, and then people would stand in front of it and take photos.
Yeah.
And since I work in distribution, I was able to get my hands on both of them, both Creatures and Destroyer. That's really a neat piece that is super rare. There's probably not any more than 15 or 20 of them.
Yeah.
Because they only send them to select record stores.
Right.
So lots of there's some, 90s, 2000s stuff, puzzles, these cups and other stuff. Lots of other stuff. Oh, and some non-obvious stuff here at the end.
Yeah, at the very end there.
Yeah. There's a Pat Travers Crocus flyer and a Van Halen.
Yeah, those are posters. Yes, and then Rainbow and Crocus, and then that Van Halen's pretty cool. That's for the Hollywood Bowl, so that was their last set of shows.
Oh wow, 2015. Look at that.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a nice poster, that one actually.
Yeah.
That's cool. Great. All right, so it was a lot. Let me get back over here and get
back to us. I'll put my pants back on. Hang on.
There we are. Joe, you awake?
I am.
Fascinating. Just fascinating.
Call me when you're ready to sell your vinyl.
That's right. So again, this is on it's on Backstage Auctions. Starts this Saturday.
Right.
Do you know what time?
Yeah, I could look real quick.
I
could get it to you, and I'll get you a link, of course. Well, you already have it.
I have the link. I'll include the link and all that.
We'll wait. It's okay. No, just
but it starts this Saturday, and you can start bidding away, and let's help John realize
some amazing stuff there. Incredible.
One of
the best collections. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of pride and work and blood, sweat, and tears went into that. And it's a little weird seeing it all, but also a point of pride too, I think, Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. So, man, I wish you the best of luck. I hope it does well for you.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
I hope you don't miss it like I did when I sold my first book, because I cried,
I think I'm telling everybody I'm compartmentalizing my emotions. I do feel like I kind of ease myself, like, okay, I still have my vinyl. I still have some things, everything,
Like are you hanging on to anything? Are you hanging on to any merch, like a couple of pieces, or is it all going?
Yeah,
all
not
the merch.
Not any of the vinyl merch. And
no. I meant, is there any, like, because I kept the 1978 dolls, which I'm not selling, and just the comic book.
Yeah,
I just don't want to move those on. I just want them. So
yeah, all the memorabilia went. Like I said, little things. Not little things, major things to me, right? So the plaques, like Loretta gave me, or the Ace signed guitar, the Budokan Epiphone that he signed to me. Those sort of things I kept. But all the memorabilia or anything like the 70s, a coin, is all gone.
I love the justification in your mind where you go, but I'm not selling all the pins and that from the records, because that's not technically merchandise. That's promo material. You kind of go, but really it's just, I want to keep them because they're cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's, and it would drive me nuts, right? Because I would keep the vinyl, but if I would to have gotten, let go of the posters and everything that went with it, right, it'd be incomplete. So it's just, I'm sure I am justifying it. And I am
allowed to do whatever you want.
That's right. It's my life.
Nicholas.
My life.
But John, you do have a pinball machine, don't you?
I do.
And you're keeping that?
I have my pinball machine.
Oh, cool.
Wait, that's the Stern.
Yes, I have the Stern. So the original, actually, I don't have anymore. I sold that. before the posters even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sold an original to a good friend here who has a production company, and it's in the lobby. He had funny enough, the back glass signed by the original band. So I know where it's at. It's beautiful, but I sold it and used the money from that and bought the stern, which is signed by the band.
Great. Is it an LE or is it a?
It's an LE.
Oh, look at you. There's only 600 of those.
Yeah, it's signed by the artist on the playing field, and then I had the back glass signed by the band.
That's great. That's great.
So that I kept, and I know where my original pinball machine is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have that anymore.
Those LEs sell for about $12,000 to $15,000 now.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They're near impossible to find.
Check out the HUMP.
Yeah.
I take Zelle, PayPal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have the topper? Did you get?
I don't, which kills me.
You could buy that topper for $400 when it came out. And
I know.
Now the topper is like $1,500.
It kills me.
The stern one, you mean?
Yes, the stern. And I was like, $400. Why didn't I do? I was just like, it's a lot. I don't know. Yeah. And then now. Yes, it's so stupid.
Because all those bits were just sitting on their website for ages. You could
forever.
Yeah. And then now it's like,
The company I bought mine from in Denver was, you sure you don't want it? No, I'll get it later, maybe. Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Now that it's
last
gone.
words, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'll get it later. Yeah.
All right, John. Thanks for coming on and sharing.
Yes.
And I hope this helps a little bit and get some eyes on the auction. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep, Backstage Auctions. I'll have the link down below, and just sign up and bid away, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Any parting words?
I appreciate it.
Oh, good luck. Good luck. Yeah, we wish you all the best fortunes with this stuff. I know it probably was a little bit tough over time to part with, but it seems like you're good about it, and yeah, it'll go, I'm sure, to some homes of people and Jason Herndon who will love it forever.
I don't know if I have enough money to participate.
Of course, now I'll be up all night worrying about how the 8 tracks weren't separated, as Jason suggested.
I'm so sorry.
So other than that, though, I should be pretty good. I don't know. I don't think I can watch the auction. It would probably drive me crazy just to see how it goes out.
I was going to say that furious refreshing from Oklahoma City is going to be from the Humphrey household. Like
the Wi-Fi goes down.
Yeah.
$125.
A mushroom cloud over Oklahoma City.
Great. All right, guys. Well, good luck, John. And
thank you.
We'll see you on the next one, everyone.